back to the Blue Chip Academy 2023. I guess this episode will be coming out in the new year, but we got a special guest, man. 6-year NFL pro, former Tennessee Volunteer, still getting. I don't know if he's still in the record books in Louisiana in the track and field sector, but national champion coach for the 8th grade football team in the FBU circuit. You know what I mean? So, like, congrats on that, man. Let's welcome Jonathan Wade. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. And to correct your earlier question, 3-time record holder still to this day in Louisiana. Don't do that.
Still to this day?
Still to this day.
Bro, that's impressive. I can't hold you.
Like
Louisiana state record holder in track and field, and what's that? 20 years ago? I don't want to date you too much.
2002, for sure. Yeah, there was a kid that almost broke the 200 record. He's currently at LSU, and I think he just won the 400 hurdles, and he's like a sophomore. He was the closest person to breaking the 200 record.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, named Sean Burrell. Shout out to Squirrel.
Okay, shout out. So just for the people that are listening, man, what are some of the times? What are the records in?
The 55.
Because when we get into the stuff about because we get into the recruiting process and you start talking about getting offers, just give a baseline.
Yeah, for sure. The 55, which they don't currently run anymore, is a 622.
Oh, man, people don't know that. Man, give me the 100, 200.
Whatever, it don't matter if they know it or not. That's a record still standing to the day. It was 10.21. At the time, it was the seventh fastest time ever ran by a high schooler at the time.
10.21?
10.21 was the seventh fastest time in the history of the 100 at the time.
Oof.
The 200 was 20.58.
Oof. 20 point?
20.58.
In high school?
In high school. Broke my previous record in the 200 from the year before at 21.03 into a negative headwind. Bro, I'll run it down for you.
Oh, man. So you listening up, we got a track and field guy, and we'll get into the coaching aspect of everything. But Wade is focused and specialized on the skill development aspect at that 7th to 8th grade range, which was very innovative at the time. Just in football culture, right? I mean, outside of quarterbacks, a lot of times we talk about there's an emphasis on just the athletic development. So we'll get into that, but somebody with that type of speed in the background. So I might have done a little bit because, like, at the combine, I ran 4.31 and Wade ran 4.37. So he never could hold those records over me. But
and I get it. Hey, listen, I can't say anything about that. You did. I'm not gonna mention the fact that I was told to gain weight because it would look better, to the scouts, which is kind of stuff that goes on in that time. Not gonna mention that I was almost 200 pounds, I'm not gonna mention how much I kind of worked on the 40 actually, because it was God given. But hey, man, you ran that 40.
Oh, okay. Hey, we can stay there, not manufactured. I'm cool. So, man, let's jump into it, man. So coming up in Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Shreveport, right? So that's basically East Texas a little bit. Well, the high school, you went to a pretty famous high school. What was the name of it?
Evangel Christian Academy. Like this many people went.
Evangel Christian.
This many people was there. I graduated 88 people in my class. 88. And 4 of them I had never seen.
88 people.
88 people. And 4 of them I saw the first time at graduation day.
So that's wild because I found out, I was a kid of AD in high school, coach. So I kind of knew about the top high schools in the country, but you guys were a top high school because, correct me if I'm wrong, John David Booty was your one of your quarterbacks at your school, right?
My senior year, absolutely.
Yeah, so during the time that I was coming out, that was one of the first prospects that made a decision to go and enroll in school early. And I was like,
right?
What's that about? Like, yeah, like what's that about? And it was like the school, your school, Evangel Christian down there. And, after you guys had put a lot of different guys out, I can't name off some of the prospects off the top of my head.
11.
What was that culture?
In my senior class.
So you guys graduated 88 people and then you put 11 D1 players out your senior year.
Plus Sophia Young, who went to Baylor and won a national championship in women's basketball.
Okay. Evangel Christian, y'all got some. Okay. East Texas,
88
Shreveport.
Yeah,
that's interesting, man. We talked about, obviously the track background and different things of that nature. Did you play any other sports when you were coming up, or was it just pretty much track football?
I was the most natural at baseball, believe it or not. I don't know if I've ever even told you that. That's what I did the best. It was just super boring. It was boring. And I felt like my speed worked against me as a kid because people wanted me just to get on base and steal, and I wanted to hit and pitch and do all the other stuff, but they just wanted to use the speed part of it, which made it boring in a weird way. So I didn't stick with it. I stuck with it all the way through my sophomore year in high school. I got asked about it at Tennessee by the baseball team. I did one radio show, and the baseball team ganged up on me and asked me if I wanted to come out and play, and there was just no way I was. I had a sour taste in my mouth. But now the bags they get, oh my gosh, I was so dumb.
Now that happens to a lot of guys that are coming up in the baseball culture. I think that whether it's just not feeling comfortable the older you get in the baseball culture, right? Or like you said, it gets boring. The older you get, the better you are, the better pitchers are coming, the less balls that are coming in the outfield, hit
Things
5
like
out of 10
golf,
balls.
probably just the same thing over and over and over.
Yeah, at least golf, you're swinging. If you sorry, you at least swinging 100 plus times. So like you're going after it. Yeah, man.
That's true.
In baseball, man, because trust me, I played baseball and I was sorry. I was sorry in baseball every year I played. I don't know if it was just a character building thing that my people put me in, but I was good one time, and it was because the way that the ages fell, right? So
Yeah.
I was May birthday, so I was always playing with like a little older kids. Baseball's a skill development sport. Like it wasn't like I was putting in crazy time in the outfield or batting and things of that in that realm or whatever. But yeah, it was a humbling experience that you had to continue to work on and just the field development. But the one time that I did play, I will say, the one time that I played with my own age group, I was like 12, 13 or something like that, and I balled out. It was like a whole tournament season, and it was actually when my recruiting process happened. I told the story early, but I was running bases, like you said, the speed.
Yeah,
One of the high school coaches was in the area and was like, "Hey,
Sure.
I think you should come out and come to this high school and play football for real because we have some speed and different things
Sure.
that you're showing on the baseball diamond." But
I got connected to my high school from baseball first.
really,
Yeah, I wasn't supposed to run track at my school. I just went out there because my friends was out there for real. I was supposed to be out there playing baseball and football.
interesting. I didn't
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. So when you got to Evangel Christian and you started playing, like when did your recruiting process kind of get start
For me, as a high school
for
athlete,
you as a high school athlete?
man, my junior year, I was late. I wasn't like everybody else, but there was so much of it around always because you remember Brock Berlin, just USA Today. He was my quarterback for 2 years, so the recruiting was always around my school. So it was always in your face as a young guy. And man, I didn't play until my sophomore year either. You didn't just play on our team.
So you were okay. So you were in that culture where you had to kind of wait your turn to
Absolutely.
get on the
I
field.
started 1 year in high school every game. 1 year every game straight, and that was my senior year. I got some backstories to that, but one
But,
full year.
so what? So hold up. So you're running 10-2. You're running 10-200 meters and
Oh, the
20
10-2
and
didn't
20
come until
point.
after that. The 10-2
I'm
didn't
saying
come
I'm just saying if you're hitting those type of numbers, you should be running something close. If you're running 10-6, 10-7, at one point you had to run 10-7, 10-8 early. Like if you're running 10-2. So I mean, y'all just had speed out the wazoo, or like, what was the deal with you not getting any burn until your senior year?
Private school, and
88 people?
Say what?
With 88 people?
Yeah, bro. Just we had a system and we had people in place, but it was a private school and it wasn't necessary. It was. Let me see. How can I say this? It was. You were gonna play depending on how who you were and stuff like that, who your family was to the team and stuff like that. And I didn't fall into that, and I was behind people that I was told after my junior year by my defense. But I was told after my junior year that the reason that I did not play was because they wanted to give some other kids some chances to get a scholarship.
I mean, it still happens today. Even some kids that I consult with in the Blue Chip Academy and one of my coaching programs. You guys check that out. Hit me up if you're interested. But going through the process and like hearing from it was like a quarterback dealing with an older a quarterback in front of him that's a senior that's trying to get an opportunity, but I guess he's clearly the better quarterback from talent standpoint, from a future standpoint. But the head coach is concerned about the senior. And that's crazy because that's a that's a pretty impactful dynamic in high school football. I don't know if it. I mean, it's probably across all sports, but in football in general, where it's like, all right, take care of the seniors, and especially in high school, you see a lot with some of the highest ranked or most wins high school coach was most winningest coaches in high school don't typically put out the most prospects, which is interesting when you think about that versus some guys, if you look and see who puts a lot of guys into the college ecosystem versus or gets guys scholarships that doesn't have the same type of winning percentages.
A scheme can win for you in high school. Like you can have
100%. A scheme can win for you in high school, and then a scheme can win for you in high school, and at the same time, at the same time, it's a level of that. I can't even call it system building, but like, what's the focus, right? Like just being up close and personal. Like up close and personal, I know my dad's focus, even at Gateway, right? He never won an actual championship there, but based on what he built, like all around, I would argue to say it's probably more impactful than the places around the area that actually won championships, which is kind of interesting when you talk about putting guys into college, giving them an opportunity to see, the business up close and personal, guys going to the pros, and then the other coaches, like you said, the winningest coaches that, put out a few guys here and there, but stack up the wins in high school at the same time, right? Where it's just not really promoting. And it's kind of an interesting dynamic when you see that, because like you're saying that you were a 10-2 guy that didn't play till high school. And it's just like, that was the culture, but that's the culture a lot of places. I mean, one of my good friends here, Steve Preston, he was probably, I would consider him probably the best player in the Western Whitfield that I've seen up close, or top three. I mean, got LeVar, but he didn't play until like mid junior year. And it was like the program that they kind of had over there, and then it was like from there being the best. And it's just like, how's he not playing early, or why isn't that talent cultivated at an earlier age when you see special people, right? Because sometimes you do see these high school coaches that are system driven, like you said, where it's like, oh, it's about my system. South Lake Carroll, like, right? Like I remember training some kids when I was living in Dallas, and they're running the same high school system in 8th and 9th grade that they're going to be running in high school. So it's not really about the individual, it's about the whole program, but that's a brainwashing or a thing of football, right? Sometimes.
John David Booty was the backup, I think, as an 8th grader, because they ran the same stuff, and he was, had the size. I mean, he was he went to a playoff game maybe with us.
Nah, I think it's interesting, right? Because I think it was the precursor to the beef of 7-on-7 coaches and high school coaches now, right? Because it comes down to the influence that it has over the players. It's like, all right, I don't need you anymore to get the college scholarship, or I can go over here and have other advocates. So that's why you see a little bit of the beef there, but it's a control thing. But at the same time, it's like the Varsity Blues story. Nah. So when you first started getting recruited, bro, like who was the first offer?
Colorado.
Prime wasn't there, but yeah, interesting.
Not this one. Not this one right here. Not this one at all. But yeah, it was a totally different Colorado. And then Southern Mississippi.
Southern Miss.
Mm-hmm.
So you were so you get your scholarship offer as a sophomore or junior year?
Junior year was the first scholarship. I got 4, I think. I think I had 4 by complete of my junior year.
And so when did you know it was getting serious? I mean, obviously you get that offer. I mean, Tennessee's a pretty big, that's a pretty wide gap between Southern Miss and Tennessee. Take me through that process from you getting the first offers to Philip Fulmer giving you a chance to come down there.
Alabama recruited me the heaviest. Like they poured out everything. I think I had a letter from Alabama. You'll get this. I stopped opening letters from Alabama mid-track season my junior year. I stopped opening them.
Why is that?
Just because it was one every day, and it was just like, when they just start sending it repetitively and it's just everything. I just stopped opening them up unless they looked a certain way. You know what I'm saying? But my dad kind of let me know, because I was ready to commit to Alabama because that was the first SEC team that came at me. And I'm from Shreveport, man. Like, let's go. Like, whatever you got for me, I'm about to take it, and let's jump on, let's go. But they were in trouble at the time, and I didn't know that. So this was back. See, the Alabama that I had was pre Nick Saban, way before that, you know. So they were trying to rebuild what they had, and it just wasn't the time to go to Alabama. I didn't know that they were just the first SEC team that came. Then I went to a camp. So an assistant coach from my school at Evangel that we had just got went to Tennessee. He was like, they got a camp up there, and if you want to go, I'd love to go back up there. I haven't been up there in a long time. Cool. We got the money. We paid for it. Me and like 3 of my homies, like that played on the team, bust up to Tennessee. We go to the camp. Here's something to any campers that listen. It was a 3-day camp.
Those real camps. Those are real
3-day camp. And this isn't a Nike camp. This is a camp at the University of Tennessee with Coach Fulmer and his staff running the drills. Very important. There's a difference between camps and then going to a college camp. It's no comparison. All right, so especially
with that being said, like, not to interrupt you, but with that being said, that's a very valid point, because with all the camps that are out here right now in the different circuits, there isn't anything more valuable than getting in front of a coach, because it is a different workout. They're looking at different things. They're trying to break to see if you're in shape, and you can be an unknown prospect. And regardless if you returned a phone call from a writer or you got beef with somebody in the circuit, you and that coach, I mean, you get a chance to show and shine out right in front of them. But my bad. Keep going.
No, you good. 1,000%. They get to put you get to show them what you got. You show up in front of Nick Saban, 6'1", 205, and run a 4.3. It might not even matter if you played before.
This is true.
So, like, let them put their eyes on you. So we go to the camp. I go play DB at the camp because that's all I really know at this point. Like, I haven't really played receiver. I know how to run routes, and I know I'm fast. But this is after my junior year, right before I'm about to go overseas.
Overseas for track?
World Youth Championship.
Okay, yeah. So you got the elite sports thing going in a couple of different sports. So, like, with that being said, when you kind of excelling, not kind of, I mean, you're going overseas to run track. When you excelling in track, how did you view football? Like, were you still doing that for fun, or did you feel like you had dreams of being an Olympian?
Definitely had dreams of being an Olympian.
So where did football fit in?
It became secondary by my junior year. Not like it just as my junior year went, because I didn't play. I was playing receiver sometimes, playing DB sometimes. Mind you, the biggest game we had in high school was Brock Berlin's state championship game when we played against West Monroe. They call it the game of the century. 60,000 fans in the Superdome.
Okay. They had 60,000?
60,000. They started my little sophomore behind.
Okay.
Out the blue. First game I played all year. They just started me because they had a receiver that could go. So they just throw my But then again, I don't play.
Right out there.
Yeah, I don't play. I don't know how, I don't play my junior year at corner. I don't start at receiver. I'm just this fast kid that can go, but just out here.
Okay. How'd that end up?
Let's go back to the camp. I'll tell you. Let's go back to the camp. So I get to the camp and I go play DB. They got us doing drills and stuff, and it's cool. And we don't really do any type of competitive type of drills versus receivers or anything like that, though, in the first half, because it's two days for 3 days. Camp. Let's go to camp. So I get mad. I see a coach talking to a dude I know in the DB group. Don't know who this coach is. Just see him getting talked to. Instantly triggered. I am pissed off. Like, how you not talking to me? I know I was doing, in my mind, I'm not saying anything. I'm just like tripping, like, yo. So I don't go back to DB no more that day. So I'm finna show you. I went to receiver the second half of the day. I'm gonna leave you with this. We did one-on-ones. They asked me to come back to DB because I kept killing her. This is the day I got day one. I got the scholarship offered out the 3-day camp.
Oh, so it was cake the rest of that. After you get anointed with the offer, it's like it's easy money.
Chris Leak was there, the quarterback went to Florida. His receiver, that was the number one receiver in the country at the time as a junior, was also there.
So it was a stacked with talent.
And I'm an unknown person, but just dog, bro, at a camp in front of the coaches. So you the number one receiver. I got your quarterback throwing me routes, and I'm covering you. You are the measuring stick for me, and you don't even know.
So for all these things happening, right? So you obviously you had a competitive fire in you because you saw the kid getting talked to. You ended up getting a scholarship right there at Tennessee. So let's transition into finish your senior year. You get to Tennessee, and it's like, all right, now you're back into another culture, right? Because I think it's a benefit to work through those growing pains in a high school like system where you have to kind of get through and earn your chance to start. Like I started as a freshman day one in high school, day one in college. And not to say that it's, that's like that was what people want, but I do recognize like there's a level of callous in working up a depth chart that I ran into certain points in my career where it was like a different, it puts you in a different mode. It's like a different, like I got my back against the wall, like whatever. We'll get to it later. When I had the injuries with Spag and he put all that different stuff. But it's interesting because when you got to Tennessee, man, you guys were loaded with talent there as well. So can you talk to me a little bit about that entry point into like the SEC, Tennessee, coming from somewhere like Shreveport, had a track background. You're going to a place, with a top track program at Tennessee Volunteers on football and track. Talk to me a little bit about that transition then.
Bro, I was instantly a track guy when that wasn't cool. Like that was tough. Like the entire time.
So you came in as the prospect, was like, all right, we don't know what kind of skills he has, but we know he's fast.
Bro, you supposed to be super fast. Like any DB bro, my first rep when I got there in the summer was against a linebacker that was already in the league, right? They want to show off because it's 7:07 in the indoor facility where the boys is in town, right? And the new cats just get here. You know the vibe I'm talking about. 100%. I get a linebacker that want to come cover me. Like, everybody waiting to bro, as soon as I take my eyes from seeing the ball snap to see him, bro, his hand all in my neck. I can't even breathe. Everybody laughing. I'm the little fast guy, dog. Bro, I'm 164 pounds soaking wet. Don't miss me, though. Don't miss. I ended up starting my freshman year as a receiver at the end of the year.
Really?
Yeah.
How'd that season end up for you guys?
Bro, I almost said something I was going to regret. We went to a bowl game.
Went to a bowl game? So it was one of
Peach
those.
Bowl. Went to the Peach Bowl.
You guys had talent, man. We'll jump a little bit to it because we played the Tennessee Volunteers my sophomore year. That was probably Wade's senior year. And I remember, man, I had a little bit of a breakout season my sophomore year. We had some nice statistical games. And I remember us throwing on the film, and they had Robert Meacham that year. He was a first-round pick, ended up being a first-round pick. And they turned on that joint. It was like a straight highlight tape. I was like, man, what is this? Like
straight 215.
Running all over the place, man. But it was interesting because we felt like you think about building an organization or building teams and just the identity that people fall into, whether it's a high school head coach that leans on his system versus a high school coach that's like got talent that I'm going to put into college, into the pros or whatever. We knew coming into play against Tennessee that, like, all right, we got athletes, but I mean, we just kind of prided ourselves in being tough and just sound football. And so we played you guys. You were out there in different, you guys played a good game, but at one point it was just like the physicality of our running back Tony Hunt started wearing on you guys. What was just the perspective? I'm always interested in hearing like how SEC teams viewed Big Ten teams when we were about to come and play at the bowl game.
Tony Hunt's the perfect for me for sure. Like he's the perfect definition of Big Ten football. He is with Tony Hunt, Puzlowski.
Don't butcher my man's name, man.
Paul, my bad. He was a baller.
Puz, man. Just call him Puz.
Say it for me. Say it for me.
Puzlowski.
Oh, right. I never would have said it like that. My bad. I didn't mean. I tried. I gave a good effort. But yeah, you guys were just the type of that's not going to wear gloves in the bad weather. He didn't have gloves on in that nasty game. That was cold and rain. He just was out there just nasty like he didn't care. 230 pounds. See, like Foster was big for us. But like he was, I remember he came to the Senior Bowl, I was mad. I had a gash on my face after the game, and I wore a visor. Like I have no idea how I got a gash on my face trying to tackle him.
I remember it was a physical game. 'Cause I remember on the sidelines on the defense, we were like, "Oh, I think they quit." Like mid third quarter, because it was like you guys had a lot. Cause you guys had a lot of draft prospects. This is prior to guys sitting out of bowl games. Because like if that was today's age, none of y'all would have been playing. None of you guys would have been. Y'all might have had like 20 guys sitting out. Because they were all out there getting out the way. Tony was coming through. Bob, let me get out of here.
He just want to go straight, bro. He want to go straight at his speed. He don't want to go fast. He just want to go at this pace straight ahead. Oh my gosh.
No, I remember that bowl game because it just brought not a lot of realities, but just the interesting dynamics of the different teams, like going out, just like the vibe of the squads. Like you guys had like a, like I mean, I'm gonna say like rap stars, but y'all was just kicking it. Like y'all had sweatsuits. We had to be dressed in like just like. Whatever the case may be, like, so going into, like, so you guys had, like, a lot of that influence. I mean, you're right outside of Atlanta or whatever.
Bingo.
So going into your pre-draft process, let's go into that a little bit. Like, what was your expectations going into that interview process of the combine?
Oh, let me take you where it started, bro. It started going to the bowl games, yo, as a freshman. Well, we used to show up to the bowl game. I can say all this now because it's like I'm out of school and stuff. But
that's all good. That's what we talk about. We get some good content. Might get some views out of it. You know what I mean? Let these people
going as a freshman and pulling up like the moment that night you get there because you're about to be there for a week. And my first two bowl games were in Atlanta, and we would stay Former would put us at the hotel connected to Lenox Mall, like adjacent to, smack together. The one like we don't go outside, we just go down the escalator and we in the Lenox Mall. Oh my gosh! And so when you pull up though, the amount of like limousines and car services and agents and all of this that are just sitting outside dapping up people and ready to go take you out in the city. As a freshman, you don't know what you're looking at. You just see the boys just hopping in and they about to go kick it. And you want to go and, there's the beginning of it.
That's real. I never even thought about that scene because that is a scene. Like you guys probably had a different scene at Tennessee than we did at Penn State because Joe was like, he was anti-agents. He was anti-professional football to an extent, right? Just kind of what it did for the whole program. He knew that we had special players that could go there, but like agents would have to get to him how they get to him. But with that being said, our first one was in Atlanta, and you said we had a lot of high profile guys. But you start seeing the agents floating around. You see, like, hey, getting bottles. They doing what? But that's like because even for me, my agent, I knew him since I was like 6th, 7th, 8th grade, and like just like that process and how it goes. But it's always interesting hearing when that first glimpse is for a player because everyone talks about the high school recruiting process. But no one really talks about the agency recruiting process and like how much of an impact that part of your career or that selection has on the rest of your career, right? Because whether it's how you're going through the pre-draft process, how you're developing in the NFL, right? Staying on point and different stuff, making the connections that you need to make outside of the game, just the transition point. It's a lifelong career.
Yeah, it's a friendship that's supposed to last lifetime.
I mean, it's a friendship, but it's a business relationship.
Right.
But this is somebody that a lot of people get introduced to 3 to 4 months before that time happens. But you're saying like you're introduced to the allure of just what that agent brings in the bowl game in Atlanta, hopping in the car service, getting the bottles, going to the shake, doing all that stuff.
And you start seeing these people now more frequent. Some of these same people live it up in Atlanta, show you that spotlight in Atlanta. And now just you start to recognize them a little bit more when we out in the club in Knoxville.
So now I know you. Now,
yeah. Now I see you balling. I see that play you made today. Yeah, yeah. Now and this is two. They're grooming you. It's like it's 2-3 years in the making before you even got. But that's how bro. It is. And now you're learning the agent process from this different way. Versus like what the purpose of it really is like later on. But that's how I was introduced to it at Tennessee.
And that's it. I mean, because that's the same thing that's the same recruiting tactics that they're going to use against high school guys now. Because the same point of monetization of what they really want is the SRA at the end of your college days. I mean, NIL money is a little bit here and there, and then some guys get the big ones, right? But a lot of it's trying to show you the value that they have or the value that they can provide you, right? But really, we can get into the structure of the agent and them getting guaranteed money every year. But I mean, not that they shouldn't get their money. I feel like you should have to work for your money though, right? Like every year, right? It's not just a matter of that first contract. It's like, all right, what do I need to get better at this year? All right, if I'm hurt this year, how are you going to make sure that I'm healthy next year? Like support me throughout my whole way. And we know that that's a lacking thing for a lot of agents. I can't speak for all, but it's a growing concern because we'll get into all that stuff. But so when you're going through the pre-draft process, I mean, is there any critical changes, right? When you sign with your agent, you're going through the pre-draft. Are you excited about the draft or are you just kind of living it up?
No, I was excited about the draft. I was excited about everything. I was excited about the combine. I was excited about the Senior Bowl. See, the Senior Bowl was going to be great for me. I'm a competitive person. And I want to show you that I'm not who you think I am. You know that about me. Like, I want to prove to you that I'm not this track guy. And if you're going to give me a stage where you have brought the best people in, see, to me, this is now a track meet.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a track meet. I don't want to go to a track meet where the heat ain't at. I line me up with the best 10, the best 8. Let's put us all in the heat and let's go.
Looking for the smoke. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so you always had the competitive, yeah.
That's my advantage. Because you're going to have to outdo me. Plus, I got this for whatever I need to bring out the bag. So, yeah, I was always excited, man. I didn't stop being excited until the draft. I was just probably the draft. I was excited all the way up because I unfortunately started reading newspaper clippings, which was the absolute worst thing to do.
Pre-draft guys, man, stay away from that. Stay focused on your craft and just go after
it. It doesn't matter. I saw people get paid that got drafted after me. I saw people get paid before me, like meaning the timing of it before my contract. It just doesn't matter. You just need to get your foot in the door and pray that you get with the right team, with the right system that can help you build your NFL game and give you time to do that and go ball. That's all you can hope for.
I mean, that's so true, man, because like coming into it, like you want to be slated in a heat lane 4 or 5 so you can get some guaranteed money just in case. But that staying power in the NFL has so much to do with like the organizational structure, how good you guys are, what's your coach looking like, how did they really want you? Like, did the position coach want you? Was it a coaching decision? Was it a personnel decision? Because like in all that, you kind of get mixed into it, right? So like these are some real things about, just throughout the football business. What would be the most impactful lesson that you learned from like the football business and the realities of it from just college and the NFL?
This may not be the most impactful one, but this is going to be a good one for this show. The way you study as a student is the way you're going to study as a player. Your study habits are going to show. If you study crappy, if you procrastinate, if you wait till the last second, you're going to do all that when you get to the league. That's
real.
Yeah, for sure.
That's real. Like that's real.
It's the same thing. Because we sitting in school too, the entire time. What most people don't know, we only on the field 2 hours out of them 8 hours that we there. We're in class taking notes, and then, so it's just not only they're not giving you a lot of notes. It's the notes that you take that you now got to go study too. Like, they give you the DVDs and stuff, but you have to whatever study habits you have created throughout your life. This is what you're going to use to become great.
Did you feel like you had sufficient study habits?
Oh
You
my
got to it?
gosh, no! I wish I was the way I am now. Like I wish. Well, I have no problems. That's part of why I am the way I am with the kids.
Right.
Because I know, we can cut some corners if I can get some certain stuff into you, tattooed in your mind right now.
You can shave some time off.
Oh my
There's
God.
some certain things you can just shave some time off, man.